Hello. According to the Rocky Mountain High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area website, in the 2 years following Colorado's legalization of marijuana, adolescent use has increased by 20% compared to the 2 years prior to marijuana legalization. The top 10 states regarding adolescent use of marijuana happen to be all states that have legalized medical marijuana, while the bottom 10 states for adolescent use are all states in which medical marijuana has not yet been legalized. Marijuana is like a poison to our society, and we need to oppose it being legalized in Tennessee. As a mental health nurse with 26 years of psychiatric and addiction experience, I have seen the impact that marijuana has on families. Marijuana affects more than just the person who uses it. Marijuana legalization leads to increased rates of DUIs and accidents, and it causes an increased use in medical resources, all while failing to provide the tax revenues sufficient to cover its costs. According to Colorado Department of Public Safety, fatalities involving marijuana have increased from 55 in 2013 to 79 in 2014, which is a 44% increase. In Denver, according to toxicology reports provided by Chemotox Lab, there was an increase in the presence of marijuana in drivers cited with DUIs, rising from 57% in 2012 to 65% in 2014. According to another study by Crean, Crane, and Mason, marijuana affects basic motor coordination in addition to the ability to plan, organize, solve problems, and make decisions, all of which are critical for safe driving. Furthermore, marijuana has negative long-term effects on attention and concentration. It also has long-term effects on decision-making and has been shown to increase risk-taking behaviors, thus making someone more unsafe in driving situations. The long-term effects persisted even after 3 weeks and more of abstinence among those that were chronic users. This means that someone driving a vehicle who had been abstinent from using marijuana for 3 weeks could still potentially be impaired and be an unsafe driver. According to the Rocky Mountain High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area website, in the 2 years following legalization of marijuana in Colorado, ER visits related to marijuana have increased by 49%. The Children's Hospital of Colorado reported that there had only been one investigation of children under the age of 9 related to marijuana, and that had occurred in 2009. By 2015, that had jumped up drastically to 16 cases, only 3 years after the legalization of marijuana. Marijuana steals the innocence of our children and endangers their lives. A study conducted by Colorado doctors showed a significant increase in exposure to recreational marijuana among children. Symptoms following marijuana exposure in pediatric cases can be severe, often leading to increased rates of admission related to marijuana. According to Colorado treatment providers, exposure to marijuana can cause isolation, paranoia, psychotic symptoms such as thought insertion, thought broadcasting, and audio command hallucinations. 3 Pueblo, Colorado hospitals spoke out against spoke out in favor of ending marijuana legalization, stating, quote, "We strongly believe the impact of retail marijuana is endangering the health of the Pueblo community and draining precious health resources," unquote. According to Steve Somerville, the medical director of St. Mary Corwin's NICU and Pediatric Services line, there has been a dramatic increase in infants testing positive for marijuana. There has also been an increase in teen suicide attempts since the legalization of marijuana. Furthermore, according to Karen Randall, a physician with Southern Colorado Emergency Medical Associates, emergency departments have experienced a drastic increase in visits for breathing problems such as asthma, upper respiratory infections, and bronchitis, as well as an increase in psychiatric needs and intentional and unintentional overdoses. Marijuana is not the most dangerous drug on the streets, but it's not certainly harmless either. Proponents of legalized marijuana point to tax revenues raised through marijuana products. However, according to the Smart Approaches to Marijuana website, the revenue brought in to Colorado in the 4 years after its legalization amounted to less than 1% of the state budget, and after regulation costs provided little to no benefit to the state. In fact, several school districts, including that of Denver, Colorado, all reported that though they were promised monies from these taxation of marijuana products, they never received any tax revenues from marijuana. Therefore, legalized marijuana for tax revenues is far outweighed by its costs on our society in DUIs, accidents, and significant medical expenses. People say that marijuana should be a choice that each person makes, and their choice doesn't affect everybody else. But evidence would say otherwise. Our nation's health is at stake. Now is the time to acknowledge that legalized marijuana is too costly to our society. Now is the time to oppose it being legalized. Now is the time to vote no for legalized marijuana in Tennessee. Thank you.